So you clicked on this video, you saw the title and you're like, damn, why'd you have to call me out like that? But that's okay, because, not every second of every day, of every week, of every year, we're going to be confident. Um, but here's how to fix that, because the confidence is escaping you, and it is a problem. But I'm going to help you reel her in, hook, line, and sinker. So for my first point on learning how to be confident, okay, or just boosting your confidence, learn to accept and give compliments. So for the first half of that statement, learn to accept compliments, okay? Even if you don't believe it, accept a compliment, because when you hear it more and more, and when you acknowledge that, you will start to believe it. You will start to be like, okay, maybe this person is not just saying this because they're my friend or because they're my family member or whatever, right? So the more that you just embrace it, the more you acknowledge it, and the more that you are okay with constantly hearing it, is the more you will accept it and believe it. So that is the major point for just learning to accept compliments. Just believe it. Believe it like people aren't capable of lying. Believe it like it is the gospel. Believe it like it is the truth and nothing but the truth, right? Believe it as if they were on trial at a court, okay? Just believe it. Even if you don't think that they're telling the truth or whatever, believe it. Believe it. All right, so the next half of my statement was, it's not just about learning how to accept compliment, it's also about giving compliments, okay? Oh yeah, and that's another thing, before I get to that. Stop not accepting compliments in the name of being humble. Why are we doing that? Okay, you're going to meet so many people in the world that see the way that you present yourself, and they're going to try and humble you anyways. Why are you making yourself part of that number? Why would you do that? That doesn't make sense, at least not to me. So, yeah. And then back to the latter half of my statement, which is learn to give compliments, okay? From point number one, we're still on point number one. Have you ever thought that, maybe the reason you don't feel confident is because you don't go out of your way to make others feel confident? Now, I get it. Anxiety, you could be, you could have social anxiety, you could be shy, you could be very awkward, okay. But work your way up to it. Take baby steps, okay? Because you can't expect to receive compliments if you don't give them in the first place. That's just wishful thinking on your part. So what you put out into the world will be given back onto you. So give compliments. Be that hype woman for people. Support people. And you know what? If you find that you're doing that already and you don't receive the same energy, then you're giving it to the wrong people. You're giving your support, your affection, your love, your compliments to the wrong people. So reel it back. And again, this is where discernment comes in. Reel it back, and you have to really analyze, okay, who's really there for you? Who's really that supportive person? What can I do to, help them feel more confident within themselves? If a coworker walks in and they have a new hair color or a new haircut, compliment them. Be like, oh my gosh, girl, okay, I see you changed your hair. Girl, it looks good. Just be that person, right? And once you naturally be that person, people will start wanting to be that person for you, especially when you feel down in the dumps and you're not having a good day, you're having an off day, right? Okay, number 2, stop idolizing people and putting them on pedestals. This is a very important point, okay? And my main point for this is going to be celebrities. Celebrities, okay? Y'all and your stan culture scares me. The sasaeng culture scares me. Y'all are crazy out here. It's mostly, I see the craziness in K-pop, but it also represents itself in pop culture as well. Don't get it twisted. The 2000s, for the women, for the female celebrities, was a crazy time to be alive. Don't get me started. All right. So, I hope you guys have heard this phrase, but if you haven't, I'll be talking a little bit about like the parasocial relationships, because I find it weird how it's just so normalized in our society. I think some people genuinely forget that, you know, these are human beings. Celebrities are human. They bleed the same, cut the same, like they live, die, poop the same. It's all the same, babes. They're human too. They're not some foreign alien from a different planet. Like, at the end of the day, just because you know them doesn't mean that they know you or will even acknowledge you. You know, there's a reason why, like, people say, like, oh, maybe try not to meet your celebrity crush or your celebrity this person, because the way that they present themselves, you know, on the TV that you always see them on, or online or on Instagram, whatever, it's not reality. It's not going to be the real way that they present themselves. Social media is still an illusion, because at the end of the day, they're still posting the best parts about themselves. They're still posting the best moments in their lives. So remember, it's all a parasocial relationship. They do not know you behind that screen, even though you may know them or think you know them, because you don't. And I find that K-pop stans in particular have this weird thing where they feel like they know their idols. Even calling them idols is weird to me. We don't call them musicians, artists, songwriters, none of that. We call them idols. Why? That's weird. Even I will never forget when stan became popular, like, among the K-pop community, and now people say K-pop stans. You do know, like, the original word came from, like, I think an Eminem song where he was talking about an obsessive fan that was stalking and doing all this other stuff. And now we've normalized it to mean, like, a good thing. Like, oh, I'm a K-pop stan. Oh, what groups do you stan? I stan this group, that group. Why? Why are we saying stan? I don't even like saying fan, personally. And I see why some content creators, when they have big followings and stuff, they literally don't even say, like, oh, my fans, that, my this, that. They say my subscribers. I think, anyways, I think our wording even is important so that we don't trap ourselves into delusion into thinking that we know these people. We do not. We don't. So, for some reason, you guys will have these nice things to say about a celebrity you've never met, right? And you've never even yet to say anything nice about yourself. That is weird. That is very weird. You don't what the hell? You don't compliment yourself in the morning when you wake up. You don't go look at yourself in the mirror and say, oh my gosh, I feel super pretty today. And yet you're so quick to defend, for example, a K-pop idol when they get into a scandal and they're all the way in Korea. You're so quick to be typing on your Twitter fingers. Huh? Evaluate your priorities. You have a poster on the wall in your room of them, and you don't even have a picture of yourself up there on that wall in your own room. Like, hello? I'm sorry, but our society has normalized this way too much, and I've always been that person that I was never, even with K-pop, like, I had to reel myself back, and I had to step back, because I'm like, y'all are normalizing things that I'm clocking, and I think it's weird, and I also don't want to fall down that rabbit hole. Figure out your priorities, because I promise you, they're not thinking of you as, you know, their priority. So, yeah, like, please. Even something as simple as, like, you know, when people actually meet celebrities, like, they'll get starstruck and da-da-da. And I understand, like, you look up to them, right? You could inspire to be like them, whatever. You may be starstruck. But, babes, all that screaming, that screeching, the reaching out to grab them as if they're a Jesus waiting to heal you? No. I just, no. Even, like, the whole, like, wanting to get a picture and video every single one of their movements, I think it's weird. Why are we normalizing this? Okay. Yeah, just honestly reel yourself back from stan culture, celebrity culture, and work on yourself internally. That's my point. Number 3, quiet confidence is the best form of confidence, okay? Never feel like you have to put on a performance, okay, and to prove that you're confident, right? Remember, the prize never has to prove why she's the gem of the ball. She just is, okay? Anybody who watches Bridgerton, any viewer who has watched season 1, nobody's questioning why Daphne, was wanted and sought after by all these men. It was obvious. She's a very talented pianist. Very talented pianist. She's beautiful. And she has humor. Like, I can see why the prince of whatever he was prince of wanted her. I can see how the duke fell in love with her. Nobody questions why she's sought after, why she's the prize. They just know that she is. So have that type of energy towards yourself. Don't ever try to outperform and do this and that and try to be the loudest one in the room to let everybody know that you're confident, because I'm going to tell you right now, it comes off as disingenuous. It comes off like you yourself don't believe you're confident, so you're trying to convince other people that you are. That's what it gives me personally, and I've seen celebrities do this. So quiet confidence, okay, doesn't feel the need to boast, body shame, belittle, compete, right, with others to be seen as confident and to feel confident. Nor does it feel threatened by someone else getting the spotlight or attention. Because one thing about quiet confidence and people who have that, they know what they bring to the table. They know that even if someone else is having their time to shine, that doesn't dim their light. That doesn't outshine them. That's the type of mindset quiet confidence people have. Okay? That's the embodiment of them, right? And with quiet confidence, sit back and observe. Okay? Let people come to you. Right? Let your aura speak for you. Right? Let your presence do the talking, okay? Obviously, you're going to reach out to others when you need to, which is why you need to have discernment, but sometimes it's good to just sit back, observe, see how people interact with each other. I'm telling you, you learn so much about the dynamic, the friend group, everything. And once you sit back, right, sometimes you don't even need to speak. People just are drawn to that because they can feel it from your aura, from your presence. Alright, so I think I hit every point in that tip. Tip number 4, have standards for yourself, okay? And what I mean by this is have standards for the people that you let into your life, whether it be family members, partners, friends. Have standards, okay? For me, I previously stated, and I'll keep on stating if I need to, people sometimes will see me and think that I'm mean. But I'm okay with that. And, people will see me and they think, I'm unapproachable. I'm not welcoming. But I actually like the fact that I look like that, because I don't just want anybody approaching me. If you approach me, you have to know what the hell you're saying and what you're talking about. You can't just approach me anyhow. For example, a guy who's interested in me cannot come up to me and be like, "Oh, what's up, fine shit? What's up, fine shit?" Who's fine shit? Why are you calling me shit? You look stupid. What? What's fine about shit? Why is this being normalized as a way for guys to talk to women, for guys to talk to girls? I have no idea. Don't ask me. But I'm not with it, personally. You can't come up to me anyhow, especially if you expect me to take you serious on a romantic level. Oh, hell nah. You have lost your mind. You have lost your mind, and I will just stand there waiting for you to regain consciousness. Because what? Oh, hell nah. So, even something as simple as how people address you, be assertive, be firm. In middle school, I kind of had this thing, people would say, little, call me little names and stuff, and I would never answer, because you're not calling me by my God-given name. You're not calling me by the name my parents gave me. Why would I answer you? Even like things where, for example, like let's say your name is like not a name someone's used to, and so they mispronounce it wrong, but you constantly remind them to pronounce it right. You constantly tell them how it's pronounced and they still mispronounce it. Or even something like people giving you a nickname without them even asking whether you're okay with it, because they don't bother, they don't have the effort, they don't put in the effort to want to learn to pronounce your name properly. That's all microaggression. That's all microaggression. And you know, I find it funny because like it'd be the older white people that can say supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, whatever the hell, Mary Poppins sounding, whatever that came from, and they can say that through and through, but they can't pronounce your name. Don't you find it weird? So be assertive when it comes to your name and how you want to be addressed. That's what I will say. Have standards for that, because trust me, people will just call you any and everything, and that's not okay. Yeah, and then again, have standards for the places that you visit. Have standards for how you present yourself, but don't let it turn toxic. So what I mean by have standards for the places that you visit, honestly, any place that you just feel uncomfortable, or like it's a situation where you don't really know the people but they're inviting you, is it somewhere you really want to get caught up in? Is it somewhere you really need to be in? Like, or to be at, I should say? No, right? So just have standards for that, honestly. And then for the point when I said have standards for how you present yourself, for me personally, I like to go outside and always make sure I have some sort of earring in my ear. I don't like not having earrings in my ear. That's just a standard for myself and how I present myself, right? But then obviously, don't let it turn toxic, right? So what I mean by that, for example, in the Black community, okay, because that's what I can speak on, I'm Black, that's what I know. We have this like weird perception of our hair where if it's not done, quote unquote, then they won't, like, I kid you not, we will refuse, especially women, we will refuse to go out. And I think it's concerning. Like, I remember speaking to that with my friend, because we're both Black, you know, she's my bestie, and we both kind of experienced feeling that way. And I remember telling her, like, I want to start, like, first of all, we need to redefine what we mean by not having our hair done. Because why is it that our hair always has to be in some sort of protective style, right, for it to be considered done? It always has to be in a passion twist, a braid, a lock, a this, a that. Like, we put these restrictions and rules on ourselves, and then it stops us from just living our lives and having fun. Like, one thing I want to start doing as a goal for myself personally is wear my hair out more and, you know, learn how to define my curls. Simple. To let my hair breathe from all the protective styles. Like, what I've noticed in this, especially for my generation, like, our Black women and girls would rather go outside in bonnets than wear their natural hair. That's concerning to me. So that's how it can turn toxic, and that's just an example that I know. But yeah, I think I said everything for that point, because I'm telling y'all, I have a lot of notes, okay? Like, it's a lot. Okay, tip number 5. Okay, think before you speak. So for this one, stop yourself from saying negative words, thoughts, or beliefs about yourself. Now, there's a scripture in the Bible. It is, can't remember where it's taken from, but it's, you know, life and death is in the power of the tongue, okay? Words have power. Even if you're not religious, I can guarantee you there's like scientific evidence, there's scientific studies of how words, even whether you think positive or negative, those all affect the brain, and there's a psychology behind it. So even if you're not religious, even if you don't believe in that scripture or don't read the Bible, whatever, I'm telling you, it is the truth, where words do have power, okay? And so if you constantly speak negative about yourself, it also opens up the portal for other people to disrespect you because you disrespect yourself. So don't be like that. Again, manifestation. That's another form of how powerful our words can be. Manifestation, at least for me, I believe it. It is real. And so if you speak negative by saying, oh, this feels so too good to be true, or oh, I don't think I'm going to do well in this job interview, and then you get surprised as to why you don't get the job. Babes, what? You just spoke that into existence. You did yourself a disservice by speaking negative. Like, why are you surprised that you didn't get it? So that just goes to show, be positive, have a positive mindset, because it affects the way that you deal with situations, and you're most likely better to have a positive outcome because of your positive mindset. All right. And then communication is also a powerful tool, okay? So, and it's attractive. People find communication attractive. Like, if you, I don't know, you're into like a certain topic, like let's say you're really passionate about sustainability, right, and the environment, and you realize that a group of your friends are having that conversation, and you've done so much research in this and this and that, you can chip in. And when you chip in, when people see that passion, it radiates off of you, it gets the conversation flowing, and ideas bounce off of each other. It is so magnetic, I'm telling you. So, like, if you know that you're knowledgeable in a topic and it's something you're passionate about, speak on it. Trust me, communication is such a powerful tool. Use it. Use it to your advantage. And then also there's a negative side to it though. But let me tell you a positive example first. So I remember one time I was in law class, and I think this was grade 12 law, and I forgot what topic we were speaking on, but honestly, our teacher was really good, and I actually enjoyed law, and I found that I was passionate about it. So, I would raise up my hand, I would participate, I would do all these different things, and I remember one time, like, after the end of our class, my classmate came up to me, and he was like, oh, you like talk like a 25-year-old. I'm like, huh? No, I don't. That's literally what I told him, but looking back, I'm like, maybe he was trying to say that I talk mature. At least that's how I'm going to interpret that. I think he meant it in a positive way, where he was saying I talk mature. And so that's just like an example of like how positive communication can make others see you. It can have an effect. And it also just shows intelligence, honestly. And intelligence and communication is very attractive. Next. So for the negative example, right? Because I don't know about y'all, but I've gotten the ick, okay, from people as soon as they've opened their mouth to speak, because I could tell they're not the type of person to think before they speak. So I'm going to give you an example that happened to me, okay? At school, I was told that I looked better with long braids, right? And this classmate, right, was basically implying that I looked worse with my natural hair, right? And I know that wasn't her intentions, but it came off that way, especially considering the fact that day when she had decided to utter those words, I was wearing my natural hair out. So, it's clear that she didn't think before she spoke, and so therefore, as a result, she came off sounding ignorant. And honestly, microaggressive. So, that wasn't her intention. And I know this person, so I know it wasn't her intention to like hurt my feelings or anything, but that's what it came off as. Those are the implications. So it just goes to show that like even the words you use, like how you speak, it's all very important. It plays a role in how people see you, although I will say that the goal of this is not to please others and to constantly think about how people perceive you. At the end of the day, the only opinion that matters is your own. But I'm telling you, once you learn to use words, you learn different vocabulary, you read more, it all helps you grow intellectually. So yeah. Next point, number 6. Okay. Never associate the reason why you like yourself with someone else. And what I mean is, don't ever make someone's preference the reason why you love yourself, right? So let's say, for example, let's say you have like a darker skin complexion than me, and you have a crush on this dude, right? And he just so happens to really like darker skinned women, right? And so you guys get together and he's like constantly praising your skin color, skin complexion. That's all good. That's great. I love that for you, sis. But let's say one day he kind of changes his mind. He decides, like, I don't think I really like, I don't know, darker skinned women, which is weird. But let's say he now has a preference for lighter skinned women. What do you do then? You were over here telling your homegirls, oh my gosh, yeah, like he loved my chocolate skin, this and that. Mind you, before you even met him, you were insecure about your skin complexion. When you met him and you started, mingling with him, whatever, that's when you got your confidence in your skin complexion. But now guess what? The person who made you confident no longer feels that same way. That's why you cannot place your confidence on people and their preferences. You can't do that. It will backfire on you, and you will have to start from scratch and rebuild your self-esteem. Oh yeah, an example of this. Oh, before I even get to that, another point. Don't think you're better than anyone, right? Just because you fit the mold. Don't think you're better than anyone because you fit the beauty standard, and because the guy that you likes the way that you look specifically, and you feel like nobody else has the way you look, and blah blah blah. Once you start placing your self-esteem in others, it is a recipe for disaster. It will backfire. An example of this that I seen in the media was Danny Lay. Yellow bone is what he want. I didn't forget about that. And I know some of y'all didn't forget about that either. If you pay attention, if you're into like pop culture media and stuff like that. And I'm not saying what happened to her was her karma, but look at the way you were treated. You were his preference, quote unquote, right? And you still got treated and discarded like any of his other baby mamas. And by his, I'm talking about the baby, which I don't know why people took him seriously. He's a grown man calling himself the baby. Anyways. So yeah, that is an example of how that can backfire on you. And also, how people say, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? Always make sure that beholder is you. Always. Always make sure that beholder is you, because like I said, trends change, beauty standards change. I remember in middle school, like, it was the standard, like, body type wise to be more curvy, to be thicker, da-da-da-da. And now I've grown up more, and I'm seeing a shift in the tide. And now people are more towards, like, the skinnier bodies and this and that. And it's not that skinny was ever out, because it always recycles itself. Like, I hate the way that body trends just are a trend in general. But, 1 minute is curvy, next minute is skinny, and then it recycles itself back to curvy, skinny, curvy, skinny, curvy, skinny. So you can never win. So don't try to win. Don't try to keep up with the Joneses. No. That will not help you in the long run, and you will end up damaging your self-esteem and your body if you are also getting procedures based on trends. That's a big no-no. No. Yeah. Is that it? Oh no. Okay. Number 7, do or learn things to find yourself attractive, or not to find yourself, but do or learn things that you find attractive, right? So it could be, I don't know, playing an instrument. Maybe you find musicians attractive. Do it. Learn how to play an instrument. When you see yourself doing something that you find attractive on others, it inherently makes you feel more attracted and attractive in yourself. So do it. Nothing's stopping you from picking up an instrument. For me, I definitely want to learn how to sing better. I want to actually have training, so that's something I wanted to go into. For other people, it could be dancing. They find dancing attractive. I do too. I mean, I grew up watching The Next Step. I do too. So yeah, like, for example, dance could be one thing that you learn to feel confident in your body. And something I've noticed is that people tend to look at the aesthetic of their body instead of being grateful for all that their body offers them functional wise. And I think once you start looking at it in that way, in that perspective, it becomes easier to not be obsessed with the way you look, right? And once you stop obsessing over the way you look, I find, or at least this is what I think will happen, you'll be more, you'll probably see more results than you have before, because you're not constantly obsessing over, calories and weight and this and that, and you're just letting yourself be active, you're letting yourself move, right? And then when you do that for so long, you look in the mirror like, oh, I didn't realize I had abs now. Or, oh, I didn't realize, this happened and that happened. So once you take your focus off of it, it's like that's when your dream body goals start to manifest. At least that's what I think happens. So that's just another pointer. Yeah. And number 8, fight for your self-expression. This is my last point. So what I mean by fighting for your self-expression is, like, for example, for me, I had to fight for getting colored hair, colored extensions, right? My 16th birthday was the first time I ever got any color, and it was like an ombre. It was like black going into purple ends. And, it was something I had to fight for because for some reason, like, again, in the black community, because that's my experience, my mom had this like stigma of like, oh, if you get colored hair, you're trying to be fast and this and that. Like, the weird stigma that the older generation has. And, I had to tell her, I was like, no, what's being fast about it? You're just sexualizing kids. That's weird. And I told her that straight. And I was like, this is my 16th birthday. Like, I want to experiment with how I look and do this and that. So, eventually I got it. And then that kind of opened the doorway. And I got, instead of like just ombre, I actually got full color of hair. Like, I think, what did I do? I think one time I did brown and blonde braids. The next time was like a full ginger look, right? So, eventually, like, you just gotta take baby steps, but also you gotta be assertive, and eventually you will be able to express yourself the way that you want to. And another thing for me was like makeup. Like, my mom, like, for some reason was like super against me doing makeup, and I thought it was weird. And the only reason I even got into it was, I think, grade 12 for my pictures. Yeah, for my graduation photo, and I think for prom. So I knew that I was going to do my makeup for those 2 events because it was just going to be expensive, and I didn't want to pay that money when I can learn to do it myself, right? So I think, what did I do? I think I got a Amazon gift card for Christmas, and I think it was like $100, and I just bought all my makeup off Amazon, and I started teaching myself. I went through YouTube tutorials and all of that stuff. So you can do it. Like, you just have to put in the effort. And then because my mom wasn't the one, like, it wasn't her money, she couldn't tell me like, oh, you can't get the makeup, da da da. I mean, unless your parents are like super strict, like, she couldn't tell me I couldn't buy it. And I don't even think she found out until after I got it, or maybe until during like the payment process. But yeah, like, and that's just how I started experimenting. And because she kept seeing me in makeup more frequent, it's now not a big deal. It's normalized. You gotta it's like exposure therapy. You have to sneak your way, okay? You have to, like, get your parents to get used to it. And then it's like, oh, this is no big deal. Like, she always does makeup. She always does this. She always does eyeliner. So, yeah, like, those, and it's so funny because my mom, like, I found out later on, like, from my grandma that my mom actually was the first one in our family to do makeup. Like, in our immediate family, right? And so I was like, why was she so opposed to it? Like, that's kind of weird. I feel like, I don't know, maybe she could have been projecting something, but at the end of the day, I was still assertive, and because I was assertive, I can wear whatever colored extensions I want to wear. It's not a big deal. I can wear makeup. It's not a big deal. And even for the way that I dress, like, I had to assert myself for that too. And now it's not a big deal. I dress the way that I want to dress. So if you really want to step into yourself authentically, and you have like those kind of barriers, you really have to just fight for it, honestly. So yeah, I think that's it. yeah, I think that's it for all my points on just how to be more confident. And I hope that at the end, you have confidence in your grasp, okay? You reeled her in hook, line, and sinker, okay? So I hope you guys learned something from this video, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!